This is Max Quinn, and today I'm going to be talking about a demo for lead management that features Einstein and Watson. So here we're logged into Salesforce inside a sales application, and on our home page we have information whether or not a lead is going to convert. We have different filters up here and different dashboards down here that represent different factors that might impact whether the lead will convert or not. We're able to see that this is all dynamic, so for example, I can filter, and you'll see that the dashboards change. I can click, and the statistics change. So everything's very dynamic, and you can slice and dice the data the way you want to. In this dashboard over here, we also have a likelihood to convert. So what's happening is on the back end, Einstein is using machine learning to generate a score for each lead in the system to determine how likely they are to convert, and based on that we can prioritize and decide which ones to contact first. So let's take a look at leads and see what this looks like if we actually go into an individual record. So here we have a lead. His name is Gustavo Reen, and we have dashboards here that are directly filtered for this lead so we can see things that might be relevant to us at a record level. We also have structured data here related to this lead that can be used in order to predict whether this lead will convert or not. Einstein's using this data on the right to generate a score, likelihood to convert. Here we see that it's 52, which is somewhere in the middle. And we also see leading causes that drive this score. So for example, because the credit score risk is high, we see that maybe it forces the score to go down. Married is no, so not married, and credit score is high risk, again, drives the score down. So we see these different factors contribute to that score. We also can drive recommendations that can be used to improve the score, and we call those actionable variables that we can use to take direct action to improve the score. So all this data is getting fed into a model, but one thing I want to point out is that we have this Watson sentiment score, which is negative. We're using Watson here to add to the structured data that feeds into the model to use unstructured data like text. Whether it's an email conversation, case notes, social media, a lot of times customer sentiment can drive whether a score will be likelihood to convert or not. So here we see the last communication was negative. And we have a chatbot integration here. This is using an Einstein chatbot that communicates with Watson. So this shows how Einstein and Watson can work together. So the Einstein chatbot asks for the lead's name. Imagine I'm a lead in a portal here, so I'll tell it my name. It asks how can I help you today? So going back to the lead record, we see that the score is 52, and the last communication was negative. So let's switch it up and now have a positive communication and see what happens to this score of 52. How can I help you today? So because the last interaction was negative, let's say something positive. This is actually going to make an API call from the Einstein chatbot to Watson, and Watson is able to detect that this text was positive, so this was a positive interaction. So the next time someone looks at this record, we see that the score is updated from 52 to 68.1, showing that now it's more likely to convert. And the reason it's more likely to convert is now the sentiment has been detected as positive in the last interaction, when previously it was negative. So this is an example of Einstein and Watson working together, where Einstein's using structured data to generate a score, and we're supplementing it with Watson, adding on top of it the ability to work with unstructured data. This really just scratches the surface, though. If we actually want to go deeper into this, we can see what's really going on here and how this model is generating this score. Let's look at this one instead. So this score that was generated on this record here, that's now 68, is driven by machine learning on the back end, and Einstein actually provides a full data suite out of the box that simplifies the job of the data scientist or data analyst. So Einstein's detecting that credit score explains 16.8% of the variation, and we get what's called a story that's able to derive insights from the data so that we can take action and make recommendations. So we can do a deep dive here and even go deeper and improve the model, see how everything works. This is a full data solution, and even get recommendations on how we can improve the model. For example, it's detecting here that certain variables are highly correlated, and maybe it's not best to include them both. Similarly, we can also do deeper dives from an analytics perspective on the dashboards and slice and dice data here, add filters, and do data analysis that we would expect from a full data solution. So this is all provided with the Einstein license. But for a daily sales rep that doesn't need to see that type of information, we can just surface what's important to them.